So I've coached, I'd say almost 100 plus, it's probably 120, 150 entrepreneurs on getting better results with their Google ads. And what I want to do in this video is I want to share something that I noticed, a couple of patterns that I noticed in almost every single entrepreneur that I coached. I'm going to help you understand why you don't need a massive budget to succeed with Google Ads. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to share with you a couple of things that I've learned while coaching these individuals to help you make more money while spending less money on ads. So if that's something you'll be interested in, make sure you stick around because I am going to teach you everything that I've learned from spending 7 years with these individuals. So the first thing that I want to do before we even get into this video is I want to invite you to a live workshop that I'm running tomorrow, and it's about how to get your first 100 high quality, affordable leads with Google Ads. What I'm going to do is I'm going to link it down in the description below, and I'm also going to tell you more about that towards the end of the video. So I've helped a lot of business owners, and I'm talking about not even from the same country. I've helped people from America, people from Europe, people from Asia, people from Australia, people from Africa get better results. And I've also done it across a variety of niches. So what I'm going to share in this video, trust me, it's going to be applicable to you, and it's going to be applicable to your specific business. So the first piece of advice that I have to give you is never trust Google. This is the first thing that I tell any one of my coaching students when they walk into my boardroom or when we sit down on a Zoom call. I sit down and I tell them to never trust Google. And there's a couple of reasons why you don't want to trust Google. So if you've ever applied ad recommendations that didn't work, or if you've spoken to a Google ad rep and left the meeting feeling more confused than when you walked in, or you just stared at your Google Ads account and you thought to yourself, how is this even possible? I'm spending even more money, but my results just keep on getting worse and worse and worse. The first limiting belief is that you should trust Google. You should trust their recommendations. You should trust their ad reps. You should trust that when they say a setting will do something, it's going to do that. And unfortunately for you and most people that are using Google Ads on a daily basis is Google Ads does not work that way. You have to remember something. Google is a profit-making company first. They have to keep the revenue coming in. Otherwise, their shareholders are going to get angry with them, and their shareholders are going to start selling off their shares, and they don't want that to happen. So the only way for them to keep their shareholders happy is to make the line go up. In fact, if you look at the prices of your clicks on Google Ads, they've gotten more expensive by 13% year over year, and I think that's for the past 5 years in a row. So your click costs are going to keep on increasing. So the one thing that I tell all of my coaching students is when somebody clicks on your ad, Google already gets paid. They don't care about the final outcome. They don't care about you getting a lead. They don't care about you getting a sale. As soon as they get somebody to click on the ad, Google already gets paid. And if they can get away with it, they will charge you $20 per click, $50 per click. I've seen some cases as high as $354 per click, and that client didn't even get a lead afterwards. So this false belief that Google is going to charge you fairly and they're going to charge you by the market rate, or Google wants what's in the best interest for you because you're the advertiser, it just doesn't play out in real life. So you want to always make sure that you take their recommendations and their ad rep advice with a grain of salt. Google will make a recommendation based on what's best for Google and not what's best for you. So when they tell you that if you increase your budget, you could get a lot more leads, yeah, but if your leads are not cost effective right now, they're not going to be cost effective after you increase your budget, right? Doesn't make sense. If I'm getting $1,000 leads and I increase my budget to $10,000 per day and I can't afford $1,000 leads, I'll just get more $1,000 leads that I can't afford anyway. So think about that before you follow one of their recommendations. They're also pretty sly about how they do these recommendations. They don't just show them to you. They actually send you an email. They don't show you any account data whatsoever. And they say, hey, you're losing out on clients. Click this button and we'll automatically apply all of these AI recommendations that are going to make your ads run much better. So what happens is most people just click the email. We're business owners. We don't have time to go into our account and see what's happening. So we click on the blue button. And to our horror, 3 weeks later, we come into our ad accounts to find that our ads aren't actually making money. They've actually been losing money for the past 3 weeks. So make sure that you don't just click on any auto apply recommendation or any recommendation from Google. Look at the recommendation and ask yourself, is this in the best interest of me and my company? I've got a podcast episode on this as well. Ask me below and I'll make sure I'll link it for you. All right, the next thing we need to talk about is your Google ad reps. Now, Google ad reps come in many shapes and sizes, but most Google ad rep advice is exactly the same. They are going to tell you that you need to increase your budget. They are going to tell you that you need to apply broad match to all your keywords. They are going to tell you that you need to add a lot more keywords, and they are going to tell you that you need to maximize conversions. All of that advice is to make Google more money. If you implement maximize conversions and you do not have the correct settings in your ad accounts and you don't have the correct cost control in place, or maybe you just don't have the correct landing page, what usually ends up happening is the clicks end up costing more, and guess what? Google ends up making more revenue from you as an advertiser. So always remember something. Whenever Google ad reps are giving you advice, they're usually given a script from Google and they usually have to say this stuff. They have to say this stuff to everybody because they need to basically meet their targets. I found it very helpful if you don't think about Google ad reps as people who are representatives from Google. Rather think about them like Google sales reps, because when you see a sales rep, you start realizing, oh, that person is there to sell me on the settings that are going to make Google a lot more money. And this is what I tell my coaching students as well. So make sure you go through all Google Ads recommendations with a fine-tooth comb. And what I do with Google Ad reps is I ask them a very simple question. I say to them, I want to understand something. If I implement all of these settings that you're telling me to implement right now, if I come back into with 2 weeks, if I come back after you, if I come back in 2 weeks and I ask you, hey, let's go through my account data, and if the account is not doing better, will you be able to get my money back? Usually they just chicken out or they drop the call, and that just goes to show you how little they believe in what they're trying to get you to do. So that's my advice on Google Ads Rep, and that's my advice on Google in general. All right. The second thing that I want you to understand, and the second thing that I tell all my coaching students is most Google guru advice, the guru advice that you see on YouTube is not going to work, and you should split test every single piece of advice that you are given. And there's a very good reason why guru advice does not work. And I'm saying this as a YouTube guru who gives out advice on Google Ads as well. You can put me into the circle. When a Google guru is giving you this advice, or when a YouTuber is telling you that you should really do X, Y, and Z to get better results with your ads, the YouTuber is really making some big assumptions. Assumption number one, they assume that you actually have conversion data in your Google Ads account. Like, I'll give you a simple piece of advice. They could tell you something like, switch over to a target cost per action bidding strategy because it's going to save you money. Very good piece of advice over there. But the only problem is, if you have less than 30 conversions, or maybe you don't have any conversions in your Google Ads account anymore, and you apply that piece of advice, you do the target CPA thing, most of the times your ads just stop spending. Your whole account will freeze up Why? Because AI needs data. If you don't have enough conversion data to feed the AI is not going to work. It's not going to bring you cost-effective leads. In fact, it's not going to know what to do, and it's just going to stop your ads from working altogether because the parameters that you set it are too tight. So does this mean that the YouTuber gave bad advice? No, they gave great advice. But what you need to understand is it's great advice for another business. It's not great advice for you. So what I recommend you do is split test the advice. If somebody tells you to do something, go into your Google Ads account, you can run a split test, and you can basically see if the advice pans out and it works for you. And if not, you still can go back to your original settings. But don't just take the word of YouTubers that are telling you to apply settings, because most of it is not taking into consideration your unique business circumstance. You wouldn't apply the same advice to a multi-million-dollar company than you would to a company that's barely making $30,000 per month. You wouldn't do that in real life. And this is the problem with information on YouTube. There's so much people out there, so many people promising that they can triple your revenue or that they can increase your ad results within 10 days. Most of it is honestly just garbage. You have to test all advice, but the best thing for you to do is actually to get a consultant in. If you need to hire the YouTube in question, hire the YouTuber and let them look at your ads, because then they can give you a piece of advice that's just for you and just for your company, not for all of the companies that they deal with. And when you think about some of these YouTubers, they are working on multi-million-dollar accounts. In fact, I've worked on an account that's spending like $13,000 per day on a single ad campaign. Now, I'm not going to go out there and take that same piece of advice and give it to a guy who's spending $50 a day. It wouldn't make sense and it wouldn't work for him because, hello, massive company, they've got a whole team of people working on their marketing campaign. And here's a dude in his bedroom just trying to make his first $500 with Google Ads. You see, it's not the same thing. So be very careful when you get any advice from any YouTubers. All right, so the third thing that I want to tell you is not every single click is going to lead to a customer. Not every single click is going to turn into a lead. And here's how I know that. We know that if we look at the stats, that Google Ads have an average conversion rate of between 3 and 5%. So what that means is for every 100 clicks that you get on your ad, only 3 to 5 of those people are going to turn into sales, are going to turn into leads. What this also means is that if you're paying $50, $70, $100 per click, it's going to take a lot of clicks for you to get to that lead or for you to get to that sale. So on a 4% conversion rate, it'll take 25 clicks for you to actually start getting a lead from your ad. So if you're paying $100 per click, it's kind of unsustainable unless you're a lawyer or unless you're an insurance company. So what this means is in most cases, you're overpaying for your clicks. You're paying too much for your clicks. You want to always have cost controls in place. This is why I recommend you use a manual CPC bidding strategy. So a manual CPC bidding strategy will basically allow you to pay what you want for the click and not what Google wants you to pay per click. So for example, you could have a manual CPC bidding strategy and you can say that you're willing to pay only $2 per click. And that means if Google wants to charge you $10 or $20 or $25 per click, nope, you just limit them to paying $2 per click. Now, there are some downsides to manual CPC bidding, but for most of my coaching students, I wanted them to start with manual CPC so they can get a hang of the system, so they can understand the system and they can see how it works, and then we transition over to more advanced bidding strategies. And the one thing I want you to remember is if we know that 100 people have clicked on our ads, and we know that we paid money for those 100 clicks, and we know that only 5 of them have turned into leads, that means 95% of our advertising budget is going wasted. And this is why retargeting ads are so important. A lot of people need to hear a message at least 3 or 4 or 5 times before they actually take action. If you think about it, most people are naturally procrastinators, which means the first time they see your ad, the first time that they're exposed to your website, yes, they might want to do it, but they're going to think of all the reasons why not to do it right now. This is why you want to run retargeting ads. They are super cheap. You can run these for like $5 a day, and they really work because they keep on following up with clients until they buy from you or until they submit a lead on your website. So it's very important that you do remarketing ads. If you want me to drop a tutorial on how to do remarketing, let me know down in the comment section below. The last two things that I have to tell you is, number one, please, or rather, let me say number four, please do not make changes to your ads all the time. I see this every time. Look, if you're going to change something on an ad, you need to let it play out. It takes on average 300 to 400 clicks to see if a change is good or if a change is bad. What most people are doing is you wake up, you had a bad day or you had something bad for breakfast, and then all of a sudden you change your ads. The next day, you change your ads. In the afternoon, you change your ads again. The next day, you are changing your ads again. And what this means is, even if you found the correct strategy and even if you found the correct settings, you wouldn't know it because you're constantly changing your ads. What I generally advise my coaching clients to do is to make a change, wait 10 weeks, not 10 weeks, 10 days or 2 weeks, and see what the outcome is. That's the only way you're going to measure if your change is really working. If you think that you're going to be able to catch a problem before it happens or stop your ads before you lose money, that's not how it works. Remember, Google Ads has an average, and we need to keep an eye on the average, and that's how we know if our ads are getting better or getting worse. Like, for example, you could get 5 leads in a day. You might think you have the best settings on earth, and then the next day you get 0 leads, and then the next day you get 0 leads, and the next day you get 0 leads. Now, only if you let that play out over a 10-day period are you going to understand that, oh, I might have had 5 leads, but if we average it out, my ad's actually doing worse than it was before. So be extremely careful with that. I can't stress that enough. And last but not least, I'm going to say this. I want you to enjoy the process, okay? I want you to really enjoy the process, and I want you to understand that everybody thinks that their ad budget is too small. Everybody thinks that their ads are horrible and they're not doing what they want them to do. Like in everybody, I've met some clients that they've got a 20% conversion rate, they have super cheap leads, and still they feel like they're doing something wrong or that their ads can get better. You're never going to get rid of the feeling that your ads can be better, because the truth is, until you have 100% conversion rate, your ads technically can be better. What's more important is that you enjoy the process of learning Google Ads, enjoy the process of trial and error, enjoy the process of working with a system, enjoy the process of coming up with marketing campaigns and ideas. It is the best way for you to start getting results. If you keep on just looking at your ads every single day and wishing that you had more money and wishing that you could do more and wishing this and wishing this, it's just not going to feel good for you running ads. And I've had some clients that I actually had to slow down and tell them, listen, you're doing far better than most people in your niche, and you need to be okay with that. Can we improve? Yes. Will we improve? Definitely. But you can't be miserable in your business and be miserable looking at your ads every day, because that's just no way to live. And I've worked with companies like spending $13,000 a day, spending thousands of dollars per day, and even they feel like their marketing budgets are not big enough. Everyone could use a little bit more money to advertise with. So it's a perfectly normal feeling. All right, so I hope you found this video enjoyable. Do you agree with everything I said? If you don't, let me know down in the comment section below. And one thing I want to do is I want to invite you Maybe you've gone through this process and said, hey, Devon, I'm looking for ads coach. I'm looking for somebody who can talk me through a system where I can just get better with my ad results. I want to invite you to my workshop. It's called How to Get Your First 100 Affordable Quality Leads with Google Ads. It's down below. I'll be hosting it tomorrow at the time of recording this video. And I really want you to join me, because what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to share everything that's worked for all these 100 entrepreneurs that I've coached. And I've coached people with super low budgets. Like, I've had people on $7 per day that have gotten amazing results. So I really think you should join. I really think it'll be something that's really good for you, and it'll give you kind of like a target to hit when it comes to what to do next in your ads. What I'm also going to do is, if you show up, I am going to give you a free mini course on Google Ads, and I'm going to do it free of charge. So all you have to do is just make yourself available that day. All right, my friend, I hope this helps. Oh, by the way, you can sign up at the link in the description below. Let me know what you think. And also, if you want to know how I got started with Google Ads and how I managed to stretch a small budget, make sure you check out this video over here. I will see you next time. Peace.